Hello and welcome to Noninkables. We are on podcast episode number 30. This week was super fun. So yesterday was Battle of the Bay and it was a blast. Imagine like DLC, but it's just all your friends, everyone you know, and like people that you recognize but don't know the names of, which I think happened a lot for me. So I definitely was like, okay, I'm going to be really awkward because I know we've spoken many times, but what's your real name? Because I just know you by your melee name. So Battle of the Bay is like the first event of its kind for Northern California. And it was arranged by some of our friends. So I think the main people organizers were Ben, whose melee name is Iago, Jesbian, whose melee name I think is Jesbian, and Tegan, whose melee name, I don't know what Tegan's melee name was, but she does have a YouTube channel called Take Refuge. And so they were the people kind of organizing everything. They got a lot of prizing donated from like game shops, and also like Tegan and Jesbian went down for and stood in line and got a D23 promo set, which they raffled off. And so it was super fun. So I definitely hope they do it again next year. I want them to do it like more than once a year, although I know it's like a ton of work, but that would be like my ideal. It's kind of like our own little local DLC. It happened in Berkeley. They had a space that kind of was like partitioned into two rooms. So you like go up these stairs and then there's like kind of like a hallway and there's like a coffee shop station kind of that was, I think, open. I didn't buy any coffee there, so I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it was open because I saw people getting coffee. And then like along the opposite wall, they had the vendors. So I think there were 3 or 4 vendors. And then you walk into the main room and that's like with all the tables and the streaming stuff. And that's where the main event happened. And then there was like another room to the side of that where you could watch the stream. And then that's where Spessy was like commentating from, and also where they had the side events. And I feel like because it was the first one, like a lot of people were just there for the main event. And then I don't know how many side events went off. And then they also did host a side event. I think like after the main event was done and the top 8 was still playing. I didn't stay because like your daughter didn't have childcare. So then Brian was watching her all day and she's a lot. So I was like, I need to go home and relieve him. So it was for the main event, 8 rounds total of Swiss best of 2 into top 8. And they had, so every round you get 2 tickets. So whoever wins the games gets the tickets. So obviously if you win both games, you get 2 tickets. If you win one game, you get 1 ticket. And then it's like, one of those coupons where it's like half of it is ticket, half of it is take the coupon, keep the coupon. And then you go and like along the side of the room, Jesbian had set up this like station. Basically you take your ticket and the ticket goes into a bag where later they raffle off like the D23 promo and some other stuff. And then you get to spin the wheel. And so there's a wheel and then like whatever it lands on is what you can get. So I am pretty happy with what I got. The first time I spun the wheel, I won Disney pin. And so I got this cute pin with Chip and Dale, who are now my favorite characters because I feel like every time I interact with them at Disneyland, they're just the cutest. I think I also like them now because I can tell them apart. So Chip is the one with the black nose because Chip for chocolate chip, and then Dale's the other one. And then their French name is Tic Tac. So that was what I got for my first one because the first game I played green purple and we drew. I lost the first game, won the second game. The first game I lost was pretty close. I got to 15 and they were at like 19. And I think they top decked like a goat or something. And the second game I won pretty handily. I got to 20 and they were at 7. And the second game, so I took red green actions and I knew like the deck was not super consistent. I knew that going in, but I was like, this deck is just, when it goes, it goes. So when it pops off, it is fantastic. And when it doesn't work, it's really rough. And I knew that going in, but I felt like, cause I'd talked about maybe playing this deck kind of when the card started to get released because of the Maui shark. And so Brian bought a lot of because it so it has, I will post a link to the deck list, but And then I think if you've seen my episodes, I was trying to make this deck like max blinged out as I could. I actually named my deck Pay to Lose because it had so many expensive cards, but I knew it wasn't like the best deck. And after all the drama that happened in the Discord for Battle of the Bay, basically with Tinc calling it a pay to win because it was like, basically because last week it was the cards were released at the local game stores, right? And then it happened the week after. So you can only buy cards from local game stores. And then pretty much and then in the beginning of a set when it's released, the cards are pretty expensive just because of rarity. And like if you were to buy on TCG Player, probably wouldn't get to you in time if you order like right when the set opens. And so it's like if you have the money to buy a lot of cases or buy singles at like a high price, probably overpriced, then you would have a better deck maybe. But like I think with set 6, when I've been playing on Lorcanito, everyone's playing something weird. Like I feel like normally in a set you're like, okay, these are the meta decks. Like there's green steel, there's red blue, there's red purple, there's steel song, like there's like the standard decks. But I feel like with this deck, because there are so many more like different interactions because of all these different cool cards that came out, everyone's playing something hecka weird. So my deck, I have 4 Diablos, like the little Diablo, right? And of course they're all foiled. And then I did also buy some French cards. And so I think one of my Diablos is a French Diablo. And yeah, so Diablo Espion del Magnifico, a French Diablo. And then, of course, I have the Shift. And I think it was Seattle, I traded a bunch of my stuff so I could get and I always feel like when I trade for them, it's like they're free because I already paid for those cards, even though I know that's not the case. So I have like my Enchanted Diablos. And then for 2 drops, obviously I've got Ursula Deceiver, but my Ursula Deceiver is the D23. It's ridiculous. This card is like, this deck is just, I'm just throwing money, I feel like, at it. And so like, even though I knew it wasn't good, I was like, I have to play it. It has so many like expensive cards. It's the D23. My other 2 drop is Gaston. However, he's the promo version. So Brian bought these. These weren't that expensive, I think. I think they were a promo for set 1. This was before we started playing. So the only way we would have gotten them is to buy them. Other 2 drops I had Sun and Chill. There's no fancy upgrade of that. My 3 drops. Oh, my other 1 drop is Hidden Cove. Those are just regular foils, and I didn't pull any French foils, so none of those. Sun and Chill is normal. For 3 drops, we already talked about the Diablo. Obviously, I have Brawl foils. This is a French one. So cool. And then Hypnotize. There's no fancy version of that. Prince John, no fancy version, just foils. And You Came Back. So I was able to pull some foil You Came Backs. I also pulled a French You Came Back, which is to Revenu. I don't know. I didn't take French. And then Brian, like the day the cards came out, bought some Enchanted You Came Back. And they came in the mail on Friday. So I put them in my deck and I was like, I'm going to play this deck, even though I know it's going to be a little rough, but I've got some, and it was like before they went up in price. They were like, I think $100. So some Enchanted You Came Backs. And then that's all the 3 drops. 4 drop, the most pretty card ever. One of these I did pull, and then the other ones Brian bought because these were actually not that expensive when we bought Robin Hood. Look at that. So pretty. At the event, they had some people who worked at Pixar, and they like also donated like a elemental artwork print. Not a print. It was an actual artwork as like a raffle prize. And also if you played against a Pixar person, they would have like a special Pixar prize. But yeah, one of the people who I played against was like, oh, that's like one of my favorite cards from that set, that and Mufasa. And I was like, oh, he's a true artist. He knows. I feel like I'm just too silly. Okay. And then, the other 3, I had like a 1 Maui's Fishhook because it could make Gaston evasive and then he could attack Genie. That's in the purple amethyst color. Okay. So that is my 3 drops, my 4 drops, my 5 drop. I got this Enchanted Pete. He came in pretty good for me because, so his ability, 1, he has Ward. So that's good, right? He's 3/4, pretty big butt quest for 2. Whenever you play an action, this character gets +2 strength. And then, so if you play 2 actions, he becomes a 7/4, which is big old fist, I guess. And then if he has 7 strength or more, he gets +2 lore. So there was a game where I was able to buff him up. I quested with him, and then I played You Came Back. And I think I played another action, and so then so that was 2 actions, so then he was up 7 strength, and so I quested for 4. So then in one turn I quested for 6. And so I feel like this deck, when it pops up, it's so good. The other 5-drop I have, I'm telling you, ridiculous. And then, also the other 5-drop, because of that, like one Maui's hook. At one point I had like 2 Maui's hooks. Got these. I think Brian bought them at some point, maybe when we were in Vegas. And then 6 cost, we got Pirate's Life, just regular foil. There's nothing special there. And then we have Maui Shark. I think actually, oh no, I do have some non-foiled. I did pull some French ones, but I felt like this card I should keep in English because it's new, so people probably want to read it. And this card, obviously, 7/5, so big old booty. The Quest for 1 has evasive, so you can get rid of like Elspot and Genie and Diablo, a lot of things. And then whenever this character challenges another character, you may return an action card from your discard to your hand. And when you play an action, gain 1 lore. So I think I had a game where I had a Maui Shark on board. And then like Robin Hood and Pete's, it was like the combo was insane. Yeah, so that was my deck. Essentially, pretty much everything was either 3 or 4 of, except for that one hook. And I had a blast. I had so much fun. I was like, this is more fun than I've had at any DLC. I think because it was all like people I knew already. And like nobody was weird or like awkward. It's just very social. Okay, so the first person I played was Green Purple. He was one of the secret Pixar people. And so he gave me a Luxo pin, which adorable. Let's see. The second one I played against a red-blue deck. The first game, I went first. They totally misplayed because they played like Sail, the Azurite Sea. So they inked twice, and then they inked. I just remember there was one turn where they like inked their whole hand and played like an ice block, an Aurelian gyro sensor, and then some other item. And so I think they had maybe 2 cards in their hand or something, but I was able to discard the rest of their hand. And so every turn they would just ink and I would just quest and have fun, essentially. And so my Robin Hood stayed on the board. He quested and did, You Came Back. So that readied him, quested again into a You Came Back, readied him, quested again, Pirate's Life. So that was basically Robin Hood quested for 6. And then with Pirate's Life, I got another 2, so 8. My opponent didn't have any lore, so he didn't lose 2. And then the second game, I think something like also, I think he tried to get to like Sisu, but I think I discarded or something. It was bad. Basically, he only got to 2 lore and I got to 20. And it was like, I got to 20 in maybe, it looks like 5 turns, but I'm guessing like probably like 7 turns, like pretty fast. And then round 3, I didn't write down what, so let me see. Yeah, my matches. Okay, round 3. Oh, so round 3, I played against Purple Steel, and I got my butt whooped so fast that I was able to go to lunch 20 minutes early. I think 20 or maybe 30 minutes early, like 25 minutes early. And the person that I played for round 3 ended up making it all the way to semifinals and then losing to Ed, who won ultimately the whole thing. And I just remember so the first game, I only got to 4 lore. Second game, I got 1 lore. He just had answers for all of my stuff. I couldn't get Robin Hood to stick. And then he played 2 genies and I just couldn't deal with them. But yeah, I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll go to lunch. So Tyler and I went to lunch and it was great. Oh, so because I won round 2, I got 2 tickets. So I spun it twice and I won. Let me see. I think that was the turn I got a button. So I picked this giant Battle of the Bay button. They also had t-shirts and I bought one, but I don't think I would wear this one. But it's like a black t-shirt with gold. And then the trophies also had this design on it. So it says 2024 Lorcana Battle of the Bay has like Golden Gate Bridge, and then on the bottom, I don't know if you can see that, but it has like all the ink colors. They have like glare colors on the bottom. And then I also got a popsicle. So they had these lollipops that look like little popsicles. At first, when they were talking about them, I thought they had like a freezer with actual popsicles, and I was actually kind of excited about that. But this is so cute. I don't even want to eat it. I'm just going to keep it forever. It's adorable. Yeah. And then went to lunch. After lunch, I matched against John, and we were on stream. And he was like, do you want to be on stream? And I was like, no, I don't want to be on stream because I feel like I would be really nervous and everyone's going to see my misplays. It's going to be bad. But my deck is blinged out and I feel like I need to be on stream so people can see my blinged out deck, my pay to lose deck. And so we both decided, we were like, okay, we're just going to be on stream. It'll be fine. Immediately was shuffling, like a card flew out of my hand. And then he was like pushing the lore counter thing and like swiped by accident. And we were just like, we broke it. And it's a good thing that you can't hear the people. I'm pretty sure you can't hear us when we're talking on stream. I don't know if you guys saw it, but we were having so much fun. And the whole time we were just like, I don't know how to play this game. I don't know how to play Lorcana. Why is it so hard? I didn't realize you could see so much of our face on the stream until like afterwards. And I watched one of the other people on stream and I was like, oh, okay, good thing I didn't know all this because I probably would have been very embarrassed. But like, I feel like John is really cool. And so we were just having a good time. And then I think in the second game, we both like in the first 2 turns just misplayed so bad. I knew he had to fire the cannons and he had a happy out, which has evasive. And yet I still played 2 Diablos. Like I knew that was going to happen. What was I doing? I wasn't thinking. I was like, oh, for some reason I was like, oh, he's only going to be able to take out 1. And then he totally had answers for both. And I knew because I already saw his hand with my little Diablo. And yet I still shifted and then played like another Diablo I could totally take care of. It was silly. And then so I had the Diablo Exerted and he was playing blue steel. And it was like a deck with like Fortis Spheres and Popsicles and Huram and Alice, the new card that has ward and can give ward to somebody and also more lore. And also Macduck Manor. I was like, I don't know how to play against this deck. I don't even know what's in your deck. But he played a Popsicle while I had an Exerted Diablo so he should have killed the Diablo first, then played the Popsicle, and then he totally like played it and I was like, too late. So if you watch the stream, we probably look very animated because we're just like trash talking each other. He was like, oh no, I misput it. And I was like, too late, you already put it down, it's on stream. And then at one point, like, I think I had a Prince John and a Pete on board. And he was gonna like try to sing some song. And he was like, oh, they both have ward. And I was like, yeah, suck it. And then right after that, I was like, they can't hear us on the stream, right? And then someone who was watching the stream told us that part of Spessie's commentating was like, oh, they look like they're just like cussing each other out, which is kind of accurate. I mean, not with bad words, but like, if you could hear, it's probably not sportsmanlike conduct. But we had so much fun. And like, I feel like we got picked because we both were playing kind of like weird decks. And it was like my first experience on stream. I got O2'd, but I had so much fun. And even though I lost, I was like, well, my future stream experiences can only go up from here because on stream, and then I think, so afterwards they were like, oh, the winner has to go do an interview with Spessie. And then like, John was like, no, I don't want to be interviewed. And I was like, ha ha. So you may have seen me go ha ha on stream and point at him. But Spessie said that like our misplays was actually like when the internet wasn't really working. And so people might not have seen it. And I was like, oh, that's good. He's like, yeah, by the time the stream came back, he was like already very far ahead. And so like the first game, I got to 3 lore, he won. The second game, I only made it to 2 lore and he won. And there's like, I think there's a part of the stream where I had a Robin Hood in my hand and then you came back and like, I think on board, I only had maybe a Prince John. I was like, I don't know what to do. Anything I play just sucks. Okay. So, and then John ended up also being one of the secret Pixar people. So like after I lost the 3rd game, I was like, well, my hopes of being in the top 8 were probably low. And also like, I wasn't hoping that hard because I feel like I knew my deck was not super consistent or strong. But John was one of the secret Pixar people. And so he gave me a little blind box of a Pixar figurine and I got a Buzz Lightyear. Look at him. He's so cute. Look at his little head. I was like, okay, you may have won both games, but I feel like I'm the true winner because I got this Buzz. And it was so cute. And I just kept showing him off like basically every single person. I was like, hey guys, look what I won. And they were like, you played another Pixar person? They're like, oh, all I got was a pen. all I got was like Luxo ball pin. I was like, I got that too. The pen was kind of cool. It said Pixar, and like the top part of the pen was like flat, and the rest of the normal was like a gray pen, which I thought was pretty cool. But this is better. Getting funny, so cute. Okay, so that was round 4. Round 5, I played against Kelvin, who Brian had played against at the set champs at Destine, and he was playing green steel, and we drew. So the first game was super close. I got to 11 lore before he even started questing, and then he just did a bunch of stuff fast, and then like the final score was 20-18. So super close. Second game, and that game I went first. Second game, I only got to 8 lore. We were both 8-8, and then he just controlled the board and swept it away. But we had a lot of fun just chatting, because I feel like the Battle of the Bay drama, like we had Tinc on one side who was just like, this is pay to win. It's not fair for the people who are like not rolling in money. And then Kelvin was like, well, you know, if you have like a good community around you, you guys can like work together to try to create cards and stuff. And then I feel like it was taken wrong. And like people thought like he was like calling them poor and stuff. And then like blew up. But yeah, he was like, so we talked about that, and I was like joking. I was like, oh, did you know that I called my deck pay to lose? And he was like, oh my God, that's hilarious. Because it's so expensive, but not that good. But yeah, and then we were kind of sitting around a lot of the people he normally plays with. So it's like, it was just like a lot of jovial, like joking around. And they had like one person on their team who I think lost the first 2 rounds. And then they were like, yeah, we basically bullied him. I was like, what are you doing? Why are you playing like that? Why are you questing? And then since then he was doing better. He started like winning, and then also I think had like 1 draw, but was like otherwise winning. And then they're like, see, bullying works. I was like, I feel like you're really just like Asian parenting. And you're like, I'm disappointed in you. Do better. So it was like a lot of joking comments and stuff like that. So it was like super fun. And then the next round, I played Ron. I think he played like early on in Lorcana, and then like didn't play last set, and then kind of came back. And he was like one of the people who I was like, oh, you played at the same place as I've played, and I don't remember your name. And whenever I talk about him with Brian, I'm like, you know that guy, that like Filipino guy with the tats? Everyone has their characteristics. Although the Filipino guy is not very helpful, because I feel like there's a lot of Filipino guys in our area. Although Ron is taller, so he's like a tall Filipino guy, which is rarer. I feel like a lot of them are just short Filipino guys. So I didn't write down what he was playing. I'm trying to remember if I can remember what he was playing. I don't remember, but I lost. I think maybe he was playing red. I'm not sure. I didn't write it down, so I have no idea. But the first game I only got to 6 lore, second game I only got to 8. So I don't know. I have no idea what he played. Maybe he played Purple Steel. My memory is not good. And yeah. Anyways. Oh, for the game that I drew, I spun the wheel, and I think that one I got like a booster pack, maybe. And then, so that was round 6. Played against Ron. Lots of fun, because it was like somebody I knew. Round 7, I played against Trent. So this was somebody I've never played before. His melee name is Chesty Puller, which I don't know if that's like a workout thing or like some game thing that I don't know. And that one I won 2-0. He was playing green red like me. So the same colors as me, but like a totally different build, because he had like Be Prepared in his deck, and I think like Medusa maybe. It was like more standard red stuff, not so much actiony stuff. Yeah, and then I think that was one of the games where I got Robin Hood to really pop off. And like, no, was he playing green steel? No, he was playing green. No, he was playing green red. No, he was playing green red. I remember. Okay, so I remember now. The first game, I went first. I managed to win I'm so proud. I was like, this is my proudest achievement out of the whole entire day, besides getting my cool action figure. I was able to win, even though he had 2 Diablos, like 3-cost Diablos, that survived the whole frickin' game. I was like, what? How? Like, I just didn't draw into anything that got rid of the Diablo. And so he drew so many cards. But I think it's because he couldn't target my stuff. I just played like ward stuff. So I played like Prince John, and I played, not that I was trying to discard his hand or anything, just because I had ward. And I played Pete. I think I played 2 Pete's at some point, and then like Maui Shark. So he couldn't like target my stuff very well. And then he had to Be Prepared, and I discarded it with an Ursula. I was like, I don't know if I should play the Ursula, but just in case, I do remember seeing a Be Prepared in there. So I was like, okay, I discarded the Ursula or the Be Prepared with the Ursula. And so that was like my proudest achievement. And literally after that game, I feel like I was being very extrovert. And I was like, guys, my proudest achievement of today. I won a game, even though there were 2 exerted Diablos, the whole freaking game. Oh, which makes me think back to the person I played that was red blue that I 2-0'd. I remember there was one of the games I had 2 Diablos that survived, and then I played 2 Prince Johns, and I think I played like a Hypnotize or something. And then I feel like it's tough because I've been on that side of red blue playing against green, and you want to draw cards so that you can find the answer, but then every time you draw cards, they draw cards. And so he would play like Popsicle, Sail the Azurite Sea, Hiram, and I had maybe half of my deck in my hand. To the point where I was like, okay, maybe soon I will have to stop drawing cards before I mill myself. Okay, but back to round 7. So won a game, even though there were 2 Diablos. I was so proud of myself. Went around bragging about it. And from that one, when I spun it, I got I got a bunch of stickers, which I've already attached to my laptop, so I can't show you. But I got like a Queen sticker, a Simba sticker, and something else. But I also got this Queen pin. It's a shoe, but it's like the Queen from Snow White. So it's like the apple, and then it has like her outfit basically as a shoe. And they also had one, I think, for Captain Hook, where the heel was a hook. And I was like, well, I already got a Queen sticker, and I love the Queen, like the character, the Queen, not in the movie, but as a Disney park character. Because I see a lot of videos of the Queen, like just walking around the park and roasting people and roasting Snow White. And she'll walk around and say stuff like, I'm looking for trash. Have you seen Snow White? Or something like that. Or she'll be like, did you get dressed in the dark? It's just shade. And I love her. So I was like, oh, I'll get the Queen. And then my last round, I played David, who had played at King Kong for set 4 championship. And he was playing blue-red. And we drew. The first game, I was surprised I lasted so long. So, because he was able to like ramp and ink and still had cards in his hand, and I made it to 10 lore, which usually I feel like that deck, once it can ramp and stuff, it just like one turn kills me. And I think I'm still confused at what happened, because I remember looking at his hand turn 1 with my Diablo, and I remember seeing like a Brawl and a small Sisu. And so I was playing around that small Sisu because he is the Brawl on one of my characters. I forgot which one. So I knew the Brawl was already used, and I knew there was a small Sisu, so I didn't want to play my Robin Hood and get small Sisu immediately. But I never saw the small Sisu. Even when he had no cards, I didn't see the small Sisu. He did play Sail at one point and inked a card, and I don't think he showed me what the card was, and I don't know if the small Sisu was there. But then I should have asked, like, oh, what did you ink? But it was like the last game, so kind of tired. And later I was like, oh, what happened to that small Sisu? And he was like, I never had a small Sisu. I was like, but I remember seeing it. So I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he inked it or if maybe I just imagined it and it wasn't even there. Yeah. So the first game I lost. I got to 10 lore though. The second game I won. My Robin Hood really, I think, popped off that game. So the best combo I've ever done with the Robin Hood is I didn't get to do it at Battle of the Bay, but I wish I could have done it on stream. That would have been amazing. But I've done it on Lorcanito, where you quest with Robin Hood, you get a You Came Back. You quest with Robin Hood, you play a You Came Back. Oh no, that's not what happened. I quested with Robin Hood, got a Pirate's Life. I played a You Came Back. Quested with Robin Hood, got a Pirate's Life. Played another You Came Back. Quested another Pirate's Life. So that combo was insane. I wish I could have done that on stream, but it didn't happen. But that's okay. So I had super ton of fun. David, the last person I played, also turned out to be a Pixar employee, which I didn't know. And he also gave me a blind box, and I got a Woody. So I got a Buzz Lightyear and a Woody. And I was like, okay, I am truly the true winner of this entire tournament. Look how adorable they are. I love them. They're so cute. I gave them to my daughter, and she immediately was just like this. I was like, oh, okay, I guess they're gay now. She's 2. She doesn't know anything. But also, so I think they had they didn't get to set up on time. And so I got there around 8:30-ish. And there was a line out the door to register. And then it was just raining a little bit. And then it started to rain a lot more. And so luckily, Ben came around and had us just all line up on the inside. So we're basically lined up in front of all the vendors. And so the first vendor on the farthest away from registration was Justine, which we played for at Set Champs last set. And I was like, oh, their booster boxes are only 110. So I bought a case before the thing even started. I bought a case of cards, and I ended up opening it at home last night. I did get an enchanted Chippendale. I don't know where I put the card. It's in a pile somewhere. But I did get an enchanted Chippendale, and then I got some other good legendaries, so not too bad. And yeah, I was like, oh geez, I'm already spending money. I bought a t-shirt. That was so much fun. Oh, and then they also had, if you like didn't bring a notebook to take score, they had these little cute little pads to take, and they're set up to be best of 2 to keep track. And I guess you could do best of 3 actually with these lines, but they're adorable. And I feel like anything that Jesbian is a part of, it was so funny because Ben was like, Jesbian just is so happy when she gives away stuff. And I was like, it's so true, because like one time I went to go spin the wheel and it landed on like candy, and she just was like, booster pack for you. It's a good booster pack. And I was like, oh, that's great. I mean, the booster pack didn't have anything good in it, but not her fault. I did make these buttons for people, and I have a bunch extra. I think I figured out how to, so this is like a defective button where the like got stuck when I closed it. And so I think I figured out how to make it better. But it's a Noninkables button. It's got a QR code, and it works. The QR code works. So if you see me at a future thing, I will be at the North American Championships in January, playing in the LCQ. And like I told Tyler at lunch, I was like, Tyler, I've had a lot of fun. And then after the stream, I was like, I've had a lot of fun with my deck. I do realize that it is not very consistent and not very good and not meta. And I think I've had my fun. And now I'm ready to be serious and play a meta deck and practice. And yeah. And then we were talking at lunch, and he was like, yeah, your deck is like when it's good, it's good. But when it's not good, it's not good. He's like, I think I played against a deck more Canita like 2 days ago, like twice, and I beat it pretty badly. And I was like, Tyler, I think that was me. Because I remember playing a green steel deck and losing very badly twice. I was pretty sure it was me. We tried to look it up, but like they had already reset. There was like a new season or whatever, so they reset the stats. And so it was like user profile not found. So we couldn't confirm, but I'm pretty sure he was talking about beating me. But I was like, it's so funny that we would match up together. So now that Battle of the Bay is done, I'm going to be very serious. And like, I have the Green Steel guide from Dale from last set. So I'm going to read that because I feel like the concepts are the same. I'm going to watch Zan's video about Green Steel. I think Ed also had a video about Green Steel. It was for last set, but I feel like the basics are the same, and I will just apply that. And I looked at Zan's Green Steel list. Tyler sent me his Green Steel list that he played. And then Brian is making Green Steel list. And then I will probably just tweak it and try to learn. Cause I feel like, okay, so I played Green Steel set 3, right? And it was aggro. It was Fessie's deck. It was like Curse Merfolk, Flynn Rider, Prince John. And I feel like a lot of people play that deck. And I played it very aggro. So I know a lot of people would wait until turn 3 until Prince John was up before questing with their Merfolk and their Flynn Rider so that they could get a card when the opponent discards the card. Whereas I immediately questing. I returned questing. And I feel like that actually helped me win games of Martinez. And also I think I just got lucky because my top decks were pretty good in that quarterfinals to win. So set 4, that was, I think set 4 was Bucky. Yeah. I tried to play Green Steel and I couldn't. I just never hit Bucky and Diablo. And I was like, apparently this deck hates me. And then set 5, we were doing our team items deck. So I didn't play Green Steel. And I think now, Tyler's playing Green Steel. So I'm probably going to we'll just all be on the same deck as a team. At least me, him, and maybe Brian. And then we'll practice. I think also like I'm going to have more there's in the next month, I would say there are a few weeks where somehow I don't have a lot of work. And so I may have a lot of time to practice. And then there's like definitely like the week of Christmas, I'm going to get murdered because everyone wants to take Christmas off. And I make the schedule, but I'm I think maybe too nice. And so I'm working a lot. And so I will probably be sleeping a lot when I'm not working. But I'm going to practice more. And the goal is to be serious and be better. Yeah, I would say if you were like maybe wavering on going to Battle of the Bay, the next time they do it, definitely go. It's so much fun. Everyone is so chill. It was just there. And then like they gave out prizes to the bottom 3 people who played all 8 rounds. And they got the champion mats and it was so cute. And it was like one of the people had like just started playing and Yeah, I think after I won like a round or two, I was like, oh, I'm not going to qualify for the last place prize. And at the end, like they gave out the last place prizes. They gave out the team prize. The team that won, I don't remember their name. It was like something with an M, and they had like a dog logo, but they had like 30 people. It was like maybe not that many. Might be exaggerated. They had a lot of people on their team. And also they had Ed on their team, who got the most points because he was number one. So they won the trophy. I think Noninkables had me and Tyler. Gary didn't go. Brian couldn't go because he's watching our daughter. And then we had a couple other local people who like represented our team. Maybe like 3 other people. And so we were a little team. And then they raffled off like the D23 stat. They raffled off the elemental artwork. They raffled off yeah, it was just like the vibes were so good. It was so fun. Like my most slightly unstressful stream experience. I would say still pretty stressful. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but I felt like my hands were shaking. My heart rate was definitely up. My aura ring was like, you experienced more stress today than usual. And it was like 3 hours more stress than usual. And I don't know, it was just really fun. And I think like Tyler ended up making it to top. And see, I think, he ended up, I don't know if you can see the final. I think going into top 8, he was 3rd. And then I think he lost in quarter 5. Yeah, so he ended up being 6th, which is pretty good overall. There were a total of 138 people, I think, signed up, and then maybe 4 didn't show up. And I think like my only maybe 2 things that I think could be improved. Honestly, just 2. 1, not enough. So like, I think the first game, part of my mat was hanging off the side of the table. And then I had to ask like everybody to like just shift over a little bit so that I could get my whole mat on the table. And luckily I wasn't playing items. So I didn't really need the whole mat compared to when I played items, but it was like a little close. And the other thing was that they didn't have a microphone for when they made announcements. And like overall, the people were very good at projecting their voice. So it wasn't like a huge deal. But like if there were a couple times when like people would be talking and then all of a sudden there's just this and you can't hear. And that's the only thing. And I know for the organizers, it was kind of tough because the original place they had didn't hold as many people as we had. And then I heard from Sasa, wife of one of the organizers, that like kind of like last minute, the original place they had were like, oh yeah, we can't hold that many people. Also, we can't let you stay there or stay, like use the space for that many hours. And so they kind of had to scramble like the last couple weeks, maybe 2 weeks, to find this new place. And luckily Ben runs like a production company. So he was in charge of like all the like video and all that stuff. And so he had some contacts and was able to get the space kind of last minute. But the space was good. It was cool. I had like a coffee station in it, which I think I saw Rich like behind the coffee bars. I don't know if he was making up. I like didn't really go over there after I registered, so I don't know what was happening in that corner, but I assume he was making coffee maybe. And then Destine, who I bought the case from, they also had a thing where like, if you opened your packs at their table, if you got like, depending on what combination you got for like the last 3 cards, like if you got legendary, you would get like another booster pack or like a deck box or sleeves. There was like a bunch of different prizes you could do. And I was like, oh, I could potentially get a lot of these, but I don't want to open an entire case here. And then it's raining outside. And what if like the cards get wet? So I was like, I'm just going to forfeit my opportunity to win that stuff. And I will just open the case at home, which was fine. Yes, it's so much fun. I love the popsicle lollipop, but most of all, oh my gosh. And then of course, like I played a total of 3 Pixar people. And that was like my goal once I lost in like round 3. I was like, okay, I don't think I'm going to make top 8. I just want to play all the Pixar people and get all this stuff. And then they told me the Pixar people, like John told me that like each of them only got 1 figurine to give out, like each Pixar person. And then they were told kind of like to give it to the nicest person. He's like, so because you have 2 figurines, you're like the nicest person here. I feel so special, but also like I am the true winner. So silly with my Buzz Lightyear and my Woody. And then I also met Kit, who says he watches the channel. So shout out to Kit. It was cool. He was like, Kit, and I like couldn't really hear him. Partly, I think I'm like maybe a little deaf from all the marching band I did in high school. And also like freaking drummers and trumpet players just like playing in my ear and being like, look what I can do. And so I was like, what's your name? Kate? Kate? And he like tried to spell it and I like still couldn't hear. And he was like, Kit, like Kit Cloud Kicker. And I was like, got it. I got it. I know that. I know. So yeah, super, super fun. And yeah, I don't know. The vibes are just so good. It was just like, I felt like I returned to my extroverted self of just being loud and having a lot of fun. Like, not really caring how I did. Honestly, partly because I knew my death was like, meh. But just having so much fun. And like, because I think this is like my first time kind of experiencing this at 6 meta. Because like no other, I played in like a sealed on Friday. Oh, I didn't even talk about that. I played in a sealed at DVY on Friday because you could win a booster box. I would say that the cards I drew were all extremely bad. I drew so many actions. I felt like I was playing an action deck. And Tyler ended up winning that. He did get the bye first round, so then that made his tiebreakers really good. And he drew 2 genies, the evasive ones. And he also had like a Tadashi, the one where like when he's challenged, you get an Inca card and then he becomes Ink, so you like ramp. And so because both him and Gary were undefeated, but because he had the bye the first round, he won. So like that was because I didn't get to play in anything for set release because we're at Disney. And so that was like my first set 6 thing. And then Battle of the Bay was like my first constructed, basically, set 6. And it was just so fun to see everybody's decks. Like so there's a lot of purple steel. I think Tegan posted on her, I want to say her Twitter account, like the breakdown. Oh, I actually have it. So the breakdown for the decks. So the number one, let's scroll back through our little chat. The number one played deck was Amber Steel. That I can't even say Steel Song because sometimes Amber Steel is locations now and sometimes Amber Steel is aggro. Number 2 was Amethyst Ruby. Good old faithful. Number 3, no, let me see. Number 2 was Ruby Sapphire. I take them. Number 2 was Ruby Sapphire. Number 3 was Amethyst Ruby. Number 4 was Amethyst Steel. Number 5 was Emeralds. And then there was Sapphire Steel. There was Ruby Steel. There was Emerald Sapphire. There was Emerald Ruby. That was me. And I know there's another girl who's also playing Emerald Ruby who sat next to me, but hers was not as actiony as mine. There was Emerald Amethyst. There was Amber Amethyst. There was Amber Emerald. There was Amber Sapphire. So basically, like pretty much every possible, I would say probably almost every possible color combination you could have. I was talking to some of our friends and one guy, Kevin, he said he played 2 Blurple decks. One was an aggro Blurple that played the new Huron that like lasts for 3. And I played that weird Sapphires. There was just a lot of interesting. There was somebody on a Pirates deck that was Ruby Steel. Oh, I sat near a person who was playing the Queen that is green. And she lets you discard a card and you gain the lore equal to the lore of that card. So he was playing like Queen and discarding like Mirabelle. There was so much like just fun stuff. And like when I would play people, when their combos would go off, I was like, okay, I'm kind of sad that now I'm losing, but also I'm so happy that your combo worked out. Like it was just, I don't know, just truly like such a positive environment and fun vibes. And yeah, shout out to everyone who went and making it so fun. And especially the organizers for getting it together. And I hope they keep doing it because it was so much fun. And yeah, I was just so happy that I got to go. And of course I came home and I was like, thank you, Brian, so much for volunteering to watch my daughter and letting me go. I had a lot of fun. And thank you. I can't say thank you to him enough because he made my deck, he blinged out my deck, and then he let me go compete. And his parents are now back from the Philippines. And so if we have any competition in the future, hopefully they'll be able to watch Eloise so that we can both go. And I feel like if ever comes a chance or a turn or something happens where only one of us can go, it's definitely his turn next. And I did also offer for him to either I played like the sealed on Friday and he played Battle of the Bay, or he played the sealed and I played Battle of the Bay. And he was like, no, I don't really like sealed, so you should go to that. And then he was like, I think your deck is stronger than mine, so you should go to Battle of the Bay. And I was like, oh, husband ever. He was working on a blue steel deck with Oswald that was like a 1-turn quest / dime for like 20 because of all the items, because it had like Queen, it had Maurice's Workshop, had Oswald. I remember at that point, I think Chicho was when it was only set 5, no Oswald yet. And then I think recently he built a purple steel deck, I think like Saturday, and then now we're trying to work on this green steel deck. So yeah. I think that's it. So now I'm like very pumped. I feel rejuvenated. I've had so much fun and I'm ready to be serious and really like practice for January. And also I think they announced, I don't remember seeing it online. I just remember people talking about it in our like Discord for Contra Costa, that the set champs for set 6 are going to be like January 18th to February something. So like kind of the weekend after the North American Championships, and then for like a month's worth. So like half in January, half in February. So goal is to start kicking ass at locals. I feel like I have the ability to do it. I just gotta stay focused, because I feel like I always like either don't sleep the night before, and so then I'm super tired, or like I realize my misplay after I do it. So I gotta really like just slow down, take a deep breath, remember to take my medicine, and Adderall for my ADHD so I can actually focus, and then just do it. So that's the goal. That's the goal for 2025. Oh my God, is it already 2025? I feel like it was only 2020. The goal is to basically be more consistent and more focused and less spazzy, but still have the same amount of fun. Yeah. So this next week, it is Thanksgiving. My work is still working the holiday, but like a little bit, not super a lot. And Brian's parents did come over to pick up Eloise. So we're kind of, I guess, free-ish outside of work for like the next 2 to 3 days. So the goal is to learn a lot. And also we need to like, I've kind of organized our cards for set 6, but we need to like inner sleeve everything. Oh, if you are looking for cards, I just posted today a ton of cards for set 3. So like a bunch of like Ursula's, Robin Hood's, Kita's, whatever. And then also some cards for set 6 in our TCG player store. Amazon recently had a sale where Inkland's booster boxes were $90. And surprisingly didn't get enchanted, which it's annoying because I feel like usually my enchanted luck is okay, but that's whatever. Neither here nor there. And so if you are looking for cards, check out our TCG player store. There will be a link in the description down below. There will be a link to my deck that I played, my pay to lose deck, my blinged out. I should probably change the Dreamborn thing so that it's actually the actual cards that are in it versus like just the regular standard versions. I should put which cards I had enchanted up. And then shout out if you watched me on the stream being insane. I'm so glad you couldn't hear us. We were just talking shit the whole time. So yeah, that's it for me. I know I said I was going to get working on those shorts, but currently kind of, I would say maybe a little, work has been busy the last week. So maybe this week I will find some to edit some shorts and start posting those. And no, that's it. That's it. I'm just so hyped. As always, keep shuffling. Hopefully you don't end up with a whole handful of non-inkables like me. All right, bye. Long episode.